You want to know the reasons why I moved from California to Dallas, Texas? Well, in today's video, I'm going to go through all the reasons in detail and let you know why I moved from California to Dallas, Texas. If it's your first time to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, tap that bell for notifications so you can be the first one to find out about all the current market conditions here in Dallas, North Dallas, and all of the surrounding areas. My name's AJ Taylor. Listen, I went through what most of you are about to go through, moving out of state to Dallas, Texas. But let me tell you, it was the best thing that I ever did for myself and my family. Now I've made it my personal mission to help people just like you make the move as easy as possible to Dallas, Texas. This is something I'm super excited about. Look forward to doing this video because it is near and dear to my heart. I went through a lot getting out of California, moving to Dallas, Texas with my family. But to make this video as impactful as possible to you, I want to take you through just a little bit of my history real quick so you can understand the magnitude of what it took for me to move from California to Dallas, Texas. So, I was born and raised in California, Los Angeles, on the West Coast, on the beach, surfing every day. Worked in the film business for 25 years, Emmy nominated lighting director, did tons of shows all around the world. The Voice, American Idol, Dancing with the Stars. I had an amazing career. And I don't say all that to brag about my past. I say that so you guys understand what I had and what I left to come here to Dallas, Texas. So, my convictions of what I needed from my family, from my wife, from my kids, what I needed to find moving here was stronger than my career in California in the film industry as an Emmy-nominated lighting director. The first reason is a sense of community. When I was in Los Angeles, I did not feel like there was any community around me. Everyone was in their own little pockets. You know, you're with this group, you're with that group. Out here in Texas, this community that I'm in, I live in a place called Prosper, Texas. It's about 30 miles north of Dallas. I live in a community, a little subdivision called Windsong Ranch. Listen, this is the community that you can imagine, suburban America, 25 years ago. It is the most incredible place that you can live as far as a community goes. Now listen, I'm not saying that everyone is all up in your business and looking through your window. I just mean that you can rely on your neighbors and your community to take care of you, and they know that you're going to take care of them. It doesn't matter what your affiliation with was certain party politics or how you feel about certain issues. We are all a community here, and it feels so good to be part of a community which I was really lacking in California. This little community of Prosper, Texas is so amazing. I'll just give you one example. We have a Christmas parade and a little Christmas event that's right at the town hall. And this is what a community we are, is that the mayor of the town read all of the kids a Christmas story before we had a big fireworks show. Listen, my wife was crying. I looked around, all the moms are in tears. I mean, it's that type of feeling of a community that I did not have in California that I found out here in Dallas, Texas. All right, the next reason why I moved from California to Dallas is the schools. Now listen, I understand that Los Angeles has its pockets, right? You might get a good school district in Pasadena or in Orange County or somewhere around there. There's always going to be pockets of schools, and of course there's always private schools. What I'm referring to is public education. In Dallas, and especially the North Dallas area, we have McKinney ISD. By the way, ISD is Independent School District. So we have McKinney ISD, Frisco ISD, Prosper ISD. These are some phenomenal schools, very highly rated. I'll give you an example. Prosper ISD is a 9 out of 10 on great schools and a 10 out of 10 on some other websites. And the reasons for this is community involvement. Once again, it's the community getting involved. It's the parents that are contributing to these schools, that are giving their time and effort into helping these schools. Another reason is there's a lot of property tax money that goes to these schools. Prosper ISD is 62% of property taxes go to the schools. So these schools are phenomenal. They're brand new. I remember when I was in Los Angeles in California, all these schools are from the 1950s. They're all falling apart. It would drove me crazy that they had so much money, but they wouldn't build new schools. Well, up here in North Dallas and where I live in Prosper, the schools are brand new. They're trying to keep everything at a 14-to-1 ratio, especially up in Prosper, Texas. And the surrounding schools, Frisco ISD, McKinney, they're trying really hard to keep the student to teacher ratio as low as possible. So to do that, they got to build more schools, and they are building schools like crazy. So that is one of the reasons why the schools are so good, is because we have a lot of property tax money coming to them, and they're always opening new schools, which brings in new teachers. They're getting paid a really good wage. So we have a lot of young, new teachers coming into the fold, which is fantastic for education up here. The next reason I want to bring up is what I like to call your freedom of thought. And I don't mean this in a political way. I don't mean different parties at all. What I mean is you are free to live and act and think the way that you feel is good for you and your family, without judgment, without being attacked. When I was in California, if you weren't in a certain group over here or a certain group over there, you were attacked. And up here, it is a very live and let live mentality in Texas. Now, I know what some of you are thinking is, well, hold on a second, that's not what I see on the news, or that's not what I hear about Texas. Listen, two things. This is not the Texas from 50, 60 years ago. Second thing, this is a huge melting pot of people from all over the country, from all over the world, that are moving here for job opportunity, for good schools, for good community. So, don't believe all the hype that you hear. Don't believe what the news might be saying about Texas. This is a freedom-oriented place. And I'm gonna tell you what, I've never felt more included in any community in my life. There are people from all walks of life. On my street, we have people from 7 different countries, just on my street, When my kids play, it looks like the United Nations meeting. I'm telling you, it's like, I look at a picture of my kids and who they're playing with, it's like, it's every walk of life. So this is a big melting pot up here. So if someone might think, oh, maybe I won't be included in Texas from what I hear, it's just not true. I'm speaking specifically about Dallas and North Dallas. Texas is a very big place. So I'm not saying that there aren't places of Texas that might still be living like it was 50, 60 years ago. But up here in North Dallas, Dallas area, up in the suburbs, the most inclusive place I've ever lived. And I lived in Los Angeles for my whole life, which was the most inclusive place. This blows it out of the water. All right, the next point I want to bring up is property taxes. So I know a lot of y'all hear about property taxes are so high in Texas. It's true. Property taxes are much higher in Texas than California. But remember, there is 0% state income tax. 0%. When I was in California, I was in a 13% tax bracket. So 13% of my income was taxed by the state of California. So you have that to offset your property taxes. Now, average property taxes are from 2 to 3%, sometimes a 1.7, 2.2. Where I live in Prosper, Texas, inside of Windsong Ranch, is 2.2%. Let me give you a little example. My home value here is about half the price of my home value in California, but it's about double the property taxes. So it's essentially a wash for me. My property taxes are the same as they were in California because the value of my house was higher versus the value of my house here. But don't forget, my house is double the size, twice as new than my home in California, but it was half the price. So a lot of perks to that. Also about property taxes is, there's a financial argument to it, that they're more expensive. Can I afford the monthly payment? Look, those are financial questions that you have to decide. But I'll tell you this, there's an emotional argument to it as well. And what I mean by that is what you're getting for your money is huge, right? The net value that you're receiving from your property taxes is noticed all around you. It's noticed when you drive on the streets. It's noticed when you go to the schools. It's noticed when you go to the public office buildings and you talk to administrators at the DMV and they actually answer the phone and say, how you doing today? Have a nice day. I mean, it just blow you away when you come here and get your license plates and you just go to the desk and they hand you your license plate and there was no line and the people were nice and they talked to you. Blows you away. So how I think about it is if I'm receiving something for the money that I'm paying in, I feel a lot better about it. I was paying a lot of property taxes or a lot of taxes in California, potholes on the street, homeless people everywhere, dilapidated schools. Well, I can't tell you the last time I saw any graffiti, any trash on the street. And look, there's homeless, but there's homeless in the big cities. So if you go to the center of Dallas, you're going to find homeless in any major city. You're going to find some crime. You're going to find some homeless. But up in the suburbs, North Dallas, and then you go east of Dallas and get into the suburbs, I don't see any of that. So these are your property taxes at work, which makes me feel a lot better about paying them. So I know this kind of goes along with what I was just saying about the property taxes, but I really want to hone in on this is that the cleanliness of the cities. So when I have clients come up here and look at homes, they're always blown away at the cleanliness. The first thing they say to me is, AJ, I'm just so amazed at the cleanliness of these streets, that there's no graffiti, there's no trash, the signs are brand new, the roads are just perfectly paved and everything's marked out perfectly. I mean, the cleanliness of these cities is just, you can't help but notice it coming from a big city. Now, when I go into, like Maine, Dallas, or if I take a trip back to Los Angeles, I can't help but notice how dirty all these cities are. All right, the next reason I want to bring up is the safety. So, Los Angeles, California, we all know it is not that safe of a city or that safe of a state. There's always pockets everywhere that are safer than others, but overall, not that safe of an area. Now, up here in Dallas, North Dallas, suburbs, super, super safe. The police up here are allowed to do their jobs. I know the cops by their first name. I know half the police department up here. My kids climb through the cars, play with the lights, play with the sirens. They come to all the events. There is a bond with the community and the police department. And that's one of the reasons why it is so safe up here is because they're allowed to do their job and they have a tie with the community. I have some clients that say, hey, my kid's bedroom can't be in front of their house. And I was, well, why? Why can't your kid's bedroom be like, the bedroom that's in front next to the front door? They say, well, it's dangerous. Guys, you got to get out of that mentality. There's not really any crime up here in these northern suburbs. Look, there's always going to be little petty theft and stuff like that, but I'm talking, it is really safe. Here's an example. So where I lived in that Van Nuys, Lake Balboa area used to be really nice, but by the time we left, I would have let my kid go around the block on her bike. Now, my kid's outside right now. I haven't seen her for a couple hours. I mean, I got a 5-year-old and a 9-year-old. They go outside and play in the streets. When the street lights come on, they come home. That's how I was raised. So that's how safe it is out here. It feels like the way that I grew up, which was that we knew everything was fine. We knew that everyone in the community, we knew everyone's names. We're all looking out for each other, which is another reason why it's so safe up here. We all know each other. So, if I see a kid doing something, I might call their parents or say, hey, look, this person, he's out pretty late. Do you know he's here? So it is so safe up here. I'm so trusting of my kids playing outside that it's just such a breath of fresh air. So, living in a big city, I know that it just feels like, hey, this is the way it is. This is the way. There's crime. There's crime where we live. Hey, there's a helicopter with a searchlight going through my backyard. Oh, well, lock the doors. Let's go back to sleep. Like, that was how I used to live with my family. And I just thought, well, that's it, right? My job is here. My family's here. This is just life. This is how it is. We're just going to grit and bear it. This is how we live. But I'm here to tell you guys that it doesn't have to be that way. Until I came up here and saw it for myself and really experienced what Dallas has to offer, I thought that was it. Right? I thought that was just how I was going to live my life. It's not true. Now, was it easy? No. It took sacrifice. It took determination. But look, you can do it too. Your convictions need to be stronger than anything else. If you're trying to find a good place for your family, schools, cleanliness, safety, it's up here, up in North Dallas. So it took hard work for me to do it, but remember, I left a big career to come up here because of what it has to offer. Best decision I ever made. All right, next thing I want to talk about is the weather. I know there's a lot of connotations with Texas being hot and sticky and muggy. Listen, there are places in Texas that are hot, sticky, and muggy, but they're down south. Houston, Galveston, down by the coast. Not up here, up in North Dallas, it is very, very enjoyable. What I like about it is, I like to say that we have light seasons. So, look, summer gets hot, right? It's 100 degrees. It's pretty humid, but not overwhelming. And then we got winter, which is really not that bad. I mean, we got 2 days of snow last year, just enough for all the kids to pick up some snow and make snowballs and have a fight, push them down the hill on the sled, and then it all melted. Fall is absolutely beautiful, and obviously spring is one of the most gorgeous times up here in Dallas. So really there's about 8 months of really, really, really fantastic weather. And then we got 2 hot months, 2 cold months. But listen, we got a lot of lakes up here. We got a lot of water up here. So one of the things that I moved away from was the beaches, right? I lived next to the beach my whole life. And I thought to myself, man, I'm really gonna miss the beach. I'm really gonna miss the beach. And I started asking my wife, when was the last time I went to the beach? Now, I used to go to the beach a lot when I was a single guy and had time to go surfing. But once I had kids and a family, I didn't go to the beach that often. Now, it was nice to know that I could or that I was living next to the beach, but I didn't really go to the beach that often. So I don't miss it that much. And where I live, up here in Windsong Ranch, they built a beach. So it's pretty amazing. It's a 5-acre, crystal clear, white sand beach lagoon. I mean, when I'm sitting on the sand out there, I feel like I'm at the beach. I don't need a beach. This is way better. I pull up in my golf cart, go to the beach, golf cart home. So anyway, you can find a little beach up here. But remember, we got a lot of lakes. So I'm about 30 minutes away from 5 different lakes up here in North Dallas. So last summer, we were at the lake all the time. 2 times a week, maybe 3 times a week, we're out on the lake. So find some water, escape that heat a little bit. But for the most part, the weather is really, really enjoyable up here. It's not like you hear about South Texas. All right, the last thing I want to talk about is traffic. Listen, I'm still looking for the traffic. I can't find it, okay? I'm from Los Angeles, from California. That's traffic. If you're coming from New York or Los Angeles or Chicago, we got traffic. Up here, I'm going 40, 45 miles an hour. People are like, oh, this traffic is so terrible. I'm like, where, what traffic? I mean, we're moving, we're going 40 miles an hour. Now listen, that's most of the time, right? If you get into the city at rush hour and you're fighting all these interchanges, yes, you're gonna end up in some traffic, okay? But up here in the North Dallas area, up in the suburbs, once you get out into your suburbs, you don't really venture too far out. I mean, I don't find myself going into the main part of Dallas that much. Now, if you have to go work there, that's all right. You take the tolls, right? Toll roads. That's another one that people want to ask about. Toll roads are not that big of a deal. Everyone thinks they're going to spend a ton of money in tolls. It's not that much money. I spend 40 or 50 bucks a month in tolls, and I take them everywhere every day. Overall, I hit a little bit of traffic here and there, but we're moving. I'm not dead stop. I'm going 30, 40, 50 miles an hour. I don't find that the traffic is really that bad. So listen, everyone, those were just some of the reasons why I moved from California to Dallas. There's a lot more, but I just wanted to share this with everybody because it wasn't easy for me, but I dug down deep. I found the courage to make this change for my family. And so listen, I'm here to help y'all. That's right, y'all. I say y'all now because I live in Dallas, Texas. But I'm here to help y'all do the same thing. It's not gonna be that easy, but you can do it. There is way more to life than just sitting back and coasting and saying, well, this is where I live. This is just it. You know, I gotta live with crime and dirty streets and homeless and people doing drugs outside. You don't have to live that way. So I wanted to make this video to help everybody know that there's a way out. And it's here up in Dallas, up in the North Dallas area. And that's why I made it my personal mission to help you guys get out of California or anywhere else that you might be coming from that's just not, you don't see yourself there for the near future and raising your kids there. I'm here to help and just to let you know that I did it. I quit a 25-year career. I got into real estate so I can help you guys make this move as easy as possible. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Stick around, a lot more to come.